The following is a live broadcast of a Lone Star community radio program, recorded and broadcasted live on irlonestar.com, Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and facebook.com/irlonestar. For more information on this show, please visit our show page at irlonestar.com/shows. To sponsor or donate to this program, visit our donate page at irlonestar.com/donate, or email us at lscrstudios@gmail.com, or give us a call at 936-666-1084. Lone Star Community Radio production and broadcast is possible by folks like you. So sponsor and donate today.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KCCZ LP Conroe, and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Hello everyone, I'm Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR, and welcome to Conroe Culture News today on Monday, June 29th, 2020. Yes, we're still in 2020, believe it or not. But amazingly, we are moving into July this week. Let's see what that brings, since each week is different. So this is... we are broadcasting from downtown Conroe at Lone Star Community Radio, and it's a wonderful day today, a little humid, a little hot, but again, you know, we're approaching July. So you can listen on FM 104.5, 106.1, and live streaming on irlonestar.com. So my guest today will be Charlie Riley. He's the Commissioner of Precinct 2, and along with him will be Bruce Berger, Chief of Staff, and Michael Silvio from Precinct 5 also. So first, before we get into that, this is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic, and she is located by Conroe High School and Taco Bell. So if you are a new patient, see how she's giving back. It only costs $25 to get an exam, and it goes back to CASA. So that's a great thing. And if you don't know, early voting starts today. That means you can go to any of the five or six open areas where you can go vote, and you don't have to live in that community. They're located all over the county. There's one in East County. There's one here in downtown Conroe. There's Montgomery, Magnolia, and 2 in the Woodlands. So how many is that? 6, I think.
We've got 2 with the event center now.
Okay, so that's right. That's right. There's the event center on 1488 as well. So anyway, you can go vote wherever it's closest to you if you work in one of those areas, and that goes on through this week, and then it stops July. It goes through till July 2nd, which is Friday, then again on Sunday, July 5th, and then it starts again the 6th through the 10th. Voting day is July 14th. So what you're voting for, if you are eligible, is the Constable in Precinct 2, Gene DeForest and Daniel Pena. And then everybody can get out there and vote for either Vince Santini or Eric Yolick for the new 457th District Judge. And then Scott Goldman is running against Jay Wright for Chief Justice in the 9th District Court of Appeals. That's a big one. That's over 10 counties. But Montgomery County is the leading one. So it's very important that you get out there and vote, because it's your right. And mask, no mask, it's entirely up to you, but just go vote. So, also other news, the First Thursday concert and market days, which were scheduled for Thursday, July 2nd, are now canceled. And I don't know when they will start again. We have had April, May, June, and now July canceled, but we really need to get control of the COVID pandemic, and everybody needs to do their part to make that happen. So we are a Texas music-friendly community in downtown Conroe, and you can listen to live music at the Red Brick Tavern, Pacific Yard House. They have Sunday brunch at Pacific Yard House and the Red Brick Tavern every Sunday with live music. This Thursday, you can listen to Cody Hibbard at Pacific Yard House, and the blues from Johnny Riley on Saturday, July 4th. Have you ever performed at any of those places, Red Brick or Pacific Yard House?
No, I haven't.
Wow, it's on your to-do list. Okay, the Red Brick the Red Brick Tavern hosts Buck Yeager every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. So he debuts a singer-songwriter joining him on the stage, and those are all within walking distance here. And if you don't know, 202 Main is now open. They opened last Thursday. We had a little pub crawl when it was legal last week in 5 venues with live music. And we're going to do that the last Thursday of every month through October is the game plan. And 202, you can call them to schedule your event or meeting for any period of time. And they also are building a beautiful outdoor space that will be available with a stage, a bar, a coffee bar, and food. So, and if your stress level is really high right now for so many reasons, because you don't know what the future brings, did you know that acupuncture can assist with migraines, pain management? It can help with stopping of smoking, overeating, allergies, all of that. And it's within sight of the studio here. Allison Bayer is the local downtown Conroe expert, and she does clear choice acupuncture. Have you guys ever tried acupuncture?
No.
Me either. But hey, if it works for all these things, she does Chinese herbal medicine, cupping, and nutrition for the well-being of men, women, and pediatric health. So, Clear Choice Acupuncture for an appointment. So with that, we're going to just start talking about everything that's going on in Commissioner Precinct 2 area. And Precinct 5, with you, sir. Anything you can tell us? Because you all, and that's always interesting. How is it that we have a Precinct 5 constable's office with Precinct 2, Charlie?
Well, thank you for having us, by the way, and we appreciate y'all inviting us over here today. Each commissioner precinct is divided up by population, so you have to have a certain amount of people for each precinct. And there's 4 county commissioners and a county judge. County judge is countywide. Precinct constables and precinct JPs, they go by state legislature district boundaries or precinct boundaries and senator boundaries, precinct boundaries.
So it's a little different.
Yeah. I probably got a population right now of 190,000 people, and Precinct 5's probably got 120 or 115, 120 because of the precinct's a little smaller. And it's getting pretty close to the time where we're going to probably have to add another precinct for JP and constable. You know, we got Precinct 5. We don't have Precinct 5 commissioners. You'll never have
And that
more.
always seemed weird.
It's just the population. That's how you have to do it. You have to keep your population at a certain amount, and we'll end up with a Precinct 6, Precinct 7.
So you think there'll be another commissioner for a Precinct 5?
No, there will never be another. There will never be more than 4 commissioners in a county.
Because that's what it says, that's what's
the law.
designated?
Yes, that's the law.
Is it
But
the
you
same
can-
in every county?
Yes, every county in the state
I
of
just
Texas.
get nods over here.
Every county in the state of Texas will have 4 commissioners and a county judge, no matter how big or how small.
Okay. So you have been commissioner for, this is your 6th year?
I'm in my 6th year, yes. I've worked for Montgomery County since November of 2001. 14 years with the previous commissioner, and I'm in my second year of my second term as the commissioner.
So, good. All right. So then we can ask you all these questions about Precinct 2. We can talk about that, and you're the educated, experienced guy.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, I've you hear all these people talk about what all's happened in not only Precinct 2, Montgomery County. I don't want to go through that. I was here when there was a 2-lane road and there was nothing between here but a 4-way stop sign. I mean, we've all heard those stories. I always like to tell people, where's your precinct? Well, it's over on the west side from anything Highway 105 south down all the way to Spring Creek and Tomball. That's our precinct. It's about 282 square miles. And if you haven't been west of 45 or especially west of 2978 in the last 2 or 3 weeks, something's changed. I mean, it's if it's happening in Precinct 2. It's all coming that way. With the new mobility that we've got, we've improved 1488 tremendously. And I say we, that's working with TxDOT.
A lot of businesses.
A lot of business on 1488, a lot of new developments on 1488, and with the overpass at the high school on 1488 at 149 and the railroad track, that just that just kind of opened up that whole side of the world. And we're continuing on with 1488 through Magnolia as a 4-lane road, working with TxDOT. And of course, our new 249 toll road opened up in March from the Harris County line up to Pinehurst, and TxDOT has told us that their portion of 249 will be open by August the 1st from Pinehurst to 1488. That would be another big improvement for mobility on the west side.
My husband travels that way every day.
It has really opened up that side of the world.
So why do you think so many people are going out that direction? Because you're increasing the mobility. Why do you think all the growth?
I think because of the pristine land that's still available, big tracts of land out on the west side.
Undeveloped opportunities.
Undeveloped, but there's people that have brought the property and they're looking at bigger pieces of property. They're looking at bigger tracts, acre sites instead of a quarter of an acre or 50 or 60 foot lots. We've got a lot of big, nice master plan developments that are just waiting on two things. They're waiting on 1488 to be completed through Magnolia, or maybe three things, FM 249, and they're waiting on the relief route around Magnolia. Once those are there, all these developments are going to take off. And we had a meeting with a guy Friday. Was it Friday, Thursday? Friday. That's got about 5,700 acres of land up north of 1486. And when that road, when 249 comes through there, he will break ground on his development. And you'd be surprised at how many people are living way up in Grimes County and Waller County that are waiting on that road to get here so they can get to Houston. They work in Houston. I probably got about 19, 20 buddies of mine that are firemen in Houston that live in Grimes County, way up in Beat Eyes and Carlos. And they're driving me crazy about wanting to know when 249 is going to be complete so they can hit 249 and get to work in a matter of 45 minutes instead of taking an hour and a half, 2 hours. So the people using these roads are not just here. They're coming from all parts of the country trying to get through here.
And how long have you been in Magnolia? Living there?
I moved down to Magnolia in 1971 when I was 14 years old from the north side of Houston, just kicking and screaming, not wanting to come because I had all of my buddies were.
I know how that's like.
All of my buddies were on the north side of Houston, so I just didn't want to come. But it didn't take me very long to realize that it's probably the best thing that ever happened. Getting out of the.
You live on property too out there?
We did at one time, but we've got rid of most of it. So I just live right in town, right there in Magnolia. I got a 1/4 acre lot in a little subdivision
that's small
with about 60 homes in it.
I would figure you'd be on.
No, I don't. I've had
50 acres or something.
I've had more than
like your buddy that works for you.
I've had more than 100 acres once before, and it's just a pain to try to keep.
Well, that's what my husband says.
It's a lot of work.
The mowing and the feeding the animals
and keeping
so
the fences
on.
and keeping people out of it.
Cows jump fences too. I don't know why, but they do.
The grass is always greener on the other side. That's what they say.
Till you've had one, you don't know.
I'm not so sure that's true.
Okay, and so you have partners here with you as well. So, Bruce, how long have you been working with Charlie?
Not quite 2 years, but I've known Charlie for a number of years. So, really humbled when he came and said, what would you think about this opportunity? And, my relationship with him is a real strange one because most of the time I'm embarrassing him because I tell the way I see it, at least how I feel about it. But quite honestly, I never would have done this for anyone else. This is an exceptional guy. He really cares about his community, genuinely cares about his community. And I've never seen that. And I wanted part of that. I wanted to be part of it. And he and Mike and all the other people have been so gracious. I mean, I've lived here 30 years, but
When you say here at Magnolia
yes,
or
ma'am.
Montgomery County?
No,
you lived in Magnolia.
Yeah, two different places, but always in Precinct 2. So I knew Charlie could keep an eye out on what the places I was
so you've
investing
known him.
in. Well, as we all know, your house is your biggest investment.
Sure.
I wanted it in a place where I knew the people who were running it, and I had faith in them. So. Yeah,
That's
I
important.
feel very blessed.
That's why it's important to go vote too, right?
Yes, it is.
Can I make a comment on that real quick?
Yes, of course.
My comment on that would be you said two things that were really exceptional. everyone needs to get out and vote in this election. It's a very, very important election, and we tend not to vote in the runoff elections. And it's probably other than the real end election, people really need to get involved. Take a look at what is at stake here and go out and vote. And the other thing you mentioned was the market that you held on every month. We miss it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The band playing and all the people would come
Sure.
out. So, yeah, good
It's
good
nice
times.
to get out, but that's why we need to control things so that everybody can get out and move about a little more freely. I don't know. I have no idea
None of
what's
us
true,
do.
what's not true, when it's going to end. So let's just all take care of each other so that we can get on with it, right?
It's just,
So-
it's hard to do. I mean, I shook hands, and I know it's hard to get out of that habit. I mean, me and you would hug necks, 3 or 4 months ago. You don't do that anymore. It's hard to get out of that habit, but it's something we've got to do right now.
You step back when somebody gets close in the grocery store. You look out for yourself. And I mean, I get criticized all the time for getting out by my relatives that live out of the area. I personally grew up in Burbank, California. So Texas is a lot different. But I've been here since '82.
I was fixing to say,
I've been here for a long time. My kids are Texans. They wouldn't live anywhere else.
Yeah.
3 boys, so I get it. I get all that. So, what exactly does a commissioner do? And I mean, what do you do? What is your role, Bruce? Helping him? Just whatever he says?
Well,
Kind of?
How
does that work?
anyone that knows Charlie knows that, quite honestly, you'd be an idiot not to listen to what he has to say. He's got more institutional knowledge than just about anyone. He's lived here. He's been involved in our precinct. So I kind of consider myself grease, to be honest with you. I know that sounds odd, but Charlie's got a vision. I know what his vision is. He shares it with me often. We also have the other employee who you were talking about with Don Dean, who we're blessed to have.
I like Don.
Don's a great guy.
He's fun.
Don is an experience, just like Charlie is. I mean, it's an experience. You need to. They're unique individuals. So Charlie's got a vision. Don can carry it out, and I'm who you call when it's not working right or something needs to be done differently. I'm the grease. I'm the one that helps it actually move a little smoother. Hopefully,
makes it happen
that's
a
at least
little
what I
more.
try to be.
You're the
But-
nudge guy.
Sort of. I mean, I'm surrounded by very capable people, quite honestly. I really am. They know what they're doing. They were very patient with me for me to get up to speed and really understand what it was they were doing and how they were doing it. And I'm not up to speed. I bug them all the time. I call them about the most mundane things, but, I'm not going to learn unless I ask them, and I'd be a fool
Sure.
not to use the asset because
And that's what you got to do. That's how you learn, with feet on the ground.
Exactly.
We have an intern here today who's doing the same thing.
Right.
So, I mean, you got to start somewhere and move on. I mean, when you became commissioner 6 years ago, did you know all the answers?
that is a very important. I worked 14 years thinking this was going to be a breeze, just walk in and do it, and it's not. I can never.
The breeze hasn't come yet,
The
has
breeze,
it?
if the breeze is here, I want to know where it's at because I haven't found it. Because I just knew that I'd be able to walk in and start doing the job. That's not the case. It's not. And like Bruce is saying, when you come from the private industry into county government, it's different. It's 2 different worlds. You have to do things different as a county employee, and it takes a while to get that down. And again, I'm not saying I've got it down. I say I think I've learned most of it, and I try to do my best every day, and I try to go home every day thinking I have done something and improved something. That's my goal, is to try to make every day.
So you
just a
take
little
it to
bit
heart,
better.
everything you do, everything.
Every decision I
matters.
make on that court, every decision I make, I don't do that for me.
Because you know you're going to hear about it, right or wrong.
And I do.
Right?
I
Because
do.
you're in the limelight.
And you can never make everybody happy. No matter what decision I make today, I'm going to make somebody mad, I'm going to make somebody happy. But you just have to take it to heart and do what's right for the county. It's not just the precinct 2, it's the county. I have to make sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's what people don't realize,
They
you
don't
know.
realize
Even
that.
if you don't live in precinct 1, whoever is,
Yes.
commissioner, like Robert Walker will be the Republican, and I don't know if he has someone running against him or not
I
in
believe
November.
there is someone. I'm not
But
sure who it is.
nonetheless, Even though I live in Precinct 2, what happens with Robert Walker is important to me because it's a collective unit that makes decisions.
Something as simple as Fish Creek Road going through the middle of your subdivision over there goes all the way from, it really goes all the way from 249 at Tomball Corville Road and runs all the way up to 105. So whatever decisions are made anywhere between affects Precinct 1, affects Precinct 2, affects Harris County. You have to look at all that. Whenever you start making these road improvements, and we deal with roads about more than anything on a daily basis, but when
That's the main thing.
When you start looking at what you're going to try to do, you got to realize how you're going to affect somebody else. You have to look at all that.
Well, I mean, the budget, even the county budget and things like that, that's collectively done.
Yes.
And depends on, where your money is going. We have a lot of things that is paid for us. I mean, you take the library, who was on the show last week, and they have a lot of things. People don't realize everything they do is absolutely free. And where does that money come from to offer free?
Yes.
It comes from somewhere.
It comes right here from
You don't think
Montgomery
about
County.
it.
No, you don't.
But there's a lot of different things. I know Craig Doyle was on here before talking about what all your money pays for as a
It's
taxpayer, as a
amazing
homeowner.
when you see that, and I don't have that list.
Yeah, and I'm not going to ask you that.
How many different departments that we have that's funded by your county
You
taxes?
don't, but anyway,
It's-
but that's why it's all good to
Yes,
be collectively.
yes.
So, as a commissioner, though, you do things besides road maintenance, which is a big chief thing, and we'll go back to that. But there's a lot of weird things that nobody knew that you do that you're accountable for.
Well, we're accountable for the budget. We're accountable for the tax rate. We're accountable for the collections. We're accountable for
Mosquito spraying
mosquito spraying, ditch digging,
I hear them out
street signs.
in Wood Forest.
And this year is different from any other year. Last year or the year before last, we would try to make at least one round in the precinct spraying mosquitoes at least once a month. Well,
I hear it more often.
We've bumped it up to at least twice a month now, trying to make sure we're trying to take care of everything.
I think
with-
it's Sunday
with all that's
nights
going
I
on.
hear it.
He started it early this year, too.
Yeah, and we started
because-
early.
I don't remember ever hearing them before, but I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he-
We're just, again, we're trying to stay ahead of
Trying to stay ahead.
something.
So people would call you for dead animals?
We
Really?
anything on it, if it's on a county road or county right
So,
away,
like a deer or anything like that?
if
You
there's a
remove
deer,
deers?
yes.
I did not know that.
Would
and
you
we
like one?
There's probably a lot on Fish Creek, huh? I see a lot.
we do, and
They run
certain
across
times
there.
of the year is different. When the rut comes in, we have deer everywhere that we pick up. Now we may not come out and pick up a squirrel or something like that, but if it's a dog, and I hate to hear the dogs or something like
yeah.
that, or deer.
Alligators?
And hogs
You ever
are
had
everywhere.
alligators?
We've had one, yes. We really have had one alligator.
We also
And
had,
hogs are everywhere.
what are they?
Yeah.
We had a call for to come and get a dead animal because the eagles were eating it, and
It wasn't eagles, it was buzzards.
but they said it was
the
eagles.
Oh,
lady, she thought
there's
it was,
a big
yes,
difference.
We were
but
like,
she didn't really
eagles?
know.
There's a big, yeah.
Eagles.
Okay, so tell me about what's going. So I noticed like on Fish Creek. So that's a good thing. It's being widened because people actually go pretty fast. I don't know if you know, but they go pretty fast on Fish Creek. My
He
husband
knows.
always complains about that. Sheriff's Department patrols that quite often, but it looks like it's coming along, and it will be one area for 2-3 lanes, and then the other area. It looks widened.
It is. Now, and what you're looking at is from 1488 north, you got the 2 lanes each direction and a turn lane down the middle. Then you got that all the way up to the new bridge at Fish Creek or at Lake Creek. That bridge, here again, that bridge is running behind schedule. There's no doubt about that. But there's a lot of things that people,
But it still looks like it's progressing.
it's coming along, but there's a lot of
I
things
really
people
looked at it when I
don't
went
really
over that way
understand.
yesterday.
Just because there's not somebody working on the top deck of that bridge doesn't mean they're not working underneath it.
Yeah.
But again, it could rain right now today in Navasota 6 or 8 inches and not rain a drop here, and Lake Creek's going to flood. And you're not going to be able to get under the bridge. And that's happened probably a dozen times since that bridge has been under construction.
I don't think we want to talk about flooding, do we?
We don't want to talk. Well, I mean, that's
I
just
wasn't
one of
bringing
the-
it up.
That's just one of those natural things that you're going to have to deal. We're going to have to deal with it. And again, So the construction on the bridge is maybe running late, but there's a lot of things that will factor into that. And then you got the overpass at 2854 McCaleb Road, which is the other north end of Fish Creek. All of those, once those are done, you'll have a 4
We need a
lane.
signal there.
It's coming.
Is it?
You've got to get the bridge in. Got to get the overpass in.
We really need a signal where it goes to 2854. That's
where
craziness.
That's where the signal's going. As soon as the overpass is done, the signal
In
will take
2020?
place. Yeah, it'll be this year. Yeah,
Okay.
it should be. Yes.
Weather
Again,
permitting.
I can't.
I've seen some bad accidents
Oh, yeah.
there.
Weather permitting.
Weather permitting
stop.
and all this, all the COVID stuff.
I can't.
So
Yeah, but it looks like it's going pretty good. McCaleb Road going towards 105 as well. It looks like it's
that turned out to
progressing.
be a great job there.
Yeah, and that looked quite challenging because there was a lot of utility poles, things like
A lot of
that.
stuff in the way had to be moved, and
Yeah.
that took us a while to do that.
That looks challenging to do
But-
that.
Radio tower.
Yes, saw that.
We went around the radio.
I
tower.
saw that too.
Well, that was a creative solution to a big problem. Saved a lot of taxpayer money.
Yeah, we keep our
money on
RV
that.
out that way.
Yeah.
And we're only 7 minutes from the lake,
Well,
you know. But depending on traffic and
but McCaleb Road was one of the best jobs we've done in a long time.
yeah, that looks good. So you have on here, you've been talking about McCaleb, Grand Pines. Where's that?
Now, Grand Pines is what we were calling the extension of Nickel Sawmill Road south of Magnolia. If you're familiar with Nickel Sawmill Road, that's the road that will get people over to 2920, 290, now the new 99. And if you went Nickel Sawmill Road, you had two different ways to go. You could go through a community and a bunch of neighborhoods headed back to the east, or you could go south and go through another community in neighborhoods. We took this Grand Pines Road, and we went right behind all these communities through quite a few large property owners, and we went from Nickel Sawmill Road at Butera,
Do not fall off.
out to Sanders Cemetery Road, and it would cut off probably 20 minutes of your drive going through all these
all the
neighborhoods,
communities.
and it made it safer
Yeah.
staying out of these
Yeah,
communities.
and they didn't want you in the communities
No, and
either.
it just
They
made
don't
it
want
so
all
much
that.
safer, and
That's
it's such a
good.
nice road. And that was another one of those. It was a good project till we got tied up with the Corps of Engineers. We had some wetlands out there about big as this table right here that they wanted to say you could navigate up and down it, and we told them it was a mud hole, and it took us 3 years to convince them that it wasn't, and that you could not navigate it.
Things don't move real fast with roads, do they?
No, they don't. And if you run into something like that, it becomes a challenge. And I could have dealt with it one of two ways. I could have spent almost $2 million buying what they call flood credits and got the road built 3 years ago. Or I could fight and disagree with the Corps of Engineers and prove that you were not able to navigate it, and convince them that they were wrong, and that's what we did, but it set the project back about 3 years.
What are flood credits?
If you're going to have to go through any kind of wetlands and do any kind of mitigation on wetlands, you have property set aside in different parts of the county where you can claim credits. This is the wetlands that you'll never use, but you take these credits for this what you are going to
Build out?
modify or do
Yeah.
something different, and it offsets one another. So, but I didn't have any of those credits, but I could have bought enough for about almost $2 million to satisfy the Corps, and I wasn't going to do that. So
Okay, so it's a good outcome.
it was a good outcome. It might have delayed the project a little bit, but it was a good outcome.
Okay, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to hear from your partners who are also sitting at the table a little bit more too. So I'm Margie Taylor, and this is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic, and we'll be right back.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment, or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Path to the Plate is a research-based education program that helps consumers understand how their food choices impact their health by making the connection to agriculture. Learning about how food is grown and produced, and how consumers can make better food choices for themselves and their families, Path to the Plate is all about dispelling myths and misconceptions. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Tuesday on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star from 3 to 7, I play back-to-back classic rock hits. That's right. I like to call it a 2 for Tuesday or a 3 for whatever it is you'd like. Call the request line 936-647-3776 or message me on Facebook, Afternoons with Lone Star, make a music request. That's right, you can do it. Here's what else. Go over to our website, irlonestar.com. Get the app on your phone. It's easy. You'll like it.
What is homelessness? Have you seen parents struggle to find a job without having transportation or childcare? What about the children sleeping in cars with nothing to eat? Families shouldn't have to struggle to survive, and children should not be homeless. Family Promise of Montgomery County serves the needs of homeless families and their children. Learn about ways you can help and learn about partnership opportunities at www.familypromiseofmc.org or call our day center at 936-441-8778.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show. With monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
And we are back. Again, I'm Margie Taylor, and this is Conroe Culture News out of downtown Conroe, Lone Star Community Radio, FM 104.5, 106.1, live streaming, irlonestar.com, and Conroe Culture News on Facebook. So you can follow up later. There will be a YouTube of this that will be posted as well. So we are here with Charlie Riley, Commissioner of Precinct 2. And I also have Bruce Berger, who's Chief of Staff, and Michael Silvio, who also offices out of Charlie's office as an officer.
Okay.
So tell me about that.
So let's talk about a deputy constable working out of a commissioner's office. You know, we get calls for everything. It's not just roads. We get calls for speeders. We get calls for people dumping trash. We get calls for trucks tearing up the road. We get calls for all of it. And it's
people
not
burning outside on
burning,
property.
That's right. And burning. Just you name it, we get calls for that. And my thought was I would like to have somebody assigned to my office that would come to the office every morning, and if there was something that we knew from the day before or we knew was going on today, we could send him out there right then. I'm not trying to circumvent the sheriff's office or circumvent dispatch or any of that, but it makes it so much easier if you were to call and say, hey, they're burning behind my house over here on Central Pines. We know where we're talking about. And instead of me having to call the sheriff's office or somebody else to get somebody to dispatch, I pick up the phone and call Silvio, or he's in the office and tell him, I need you to run by there and do it. And 9 times out of 10,
So
he's
it's
there
easier.
before
Anybody else?
or they've done left, or they've quit, or so
Whatever.
we have a better chance of getting the situation solved that way. So Silvio is in our office. He works. He's commissioned and he works as a Precinct 5 deputy constable out of Chris Jones's office, assigned to our office. So like I say, if somebody calls about something, we call Silvio and we send him on his way over there to take care of the speeders or the trash or whatever it is. Now, what we are doing now, we've got another deputy that we've hired for Precinct 2. We have a problem in Montgomery County, and I've been trying to get a commercial vehicle division for Montgomery County for a long time, and nobody seems to be real interested in it. But if you were sitting in my shoes as Precinct 2 Commissioner and you see all these big road jobs that are going on in and around Precinct 2 and even through Precinct 2 and up in Precinct 1 and down in Precinct 3, every job that these people are doing, they have to have dirt from somewhere. And we're getting just overrun with dump trucks and big trucks and construction vehicles. And I've got probably a dozen 18-foot wide little old county roads that had 35 or 40 homes on it that was not intended to have 18-wheelers at 80,000 pounds running up and down hauling dirt for these big construction jobs, or
Wrecks the
just
streets,
just
too.
hauling to anybody's house. Well, we were fortunate enough to have a man that had 43 years experience with DPS as a commercial vehicle enforcement officer. He wanted to retire, so when he retired from DPS, we convinced him to come over here and work with us. And he's licensed. He's got all of his credentials to be a license and weight officer for Montgomery County. The problem is, in our statute, it does not say deputy constables can do that. So we are in the process. Matter of fact, we're having a meeting Wednesday with the 2 senators and 3 representatives from Montgomery County to get a bill passed through the legislature to change that, where the deputy constables can enforce commercial vehicle inspections and weights and all that. And one of their things that they're kind of they were kind of afraid of when we first talked to them about that, they thought we were wanting to get out on 1488, I-45, and all these big farm to market roads and highways and stop trucks and inspect them. That's not what I want to do. I want these trucks that are tearing up my county roads or any county roads in Montgomery County to, number one, either get right and quit being overloaded, or if you're going to tear the road up, we're going to figure out a way that you have to pay for it.
So it's a way of regulating it.
Yes, to fix the roads back. I can't go
Because
and
they
fix
don't
all
really
these
care.
roads.
They're
No,
just
they
using
don't.
the road.
They don't. They're going from one point to the other. They don't care whose road it is. They don't care what they do. I say that. Some of them do. Most of them are pretty good guys. Some of them are coming out of Harris
But
County.
they're for doing a
Yes.
job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're saying if you're going to run in Precinct 2 especially, you're going to do it right. And then hopefully we can get this throughout Montgomery County, because I'm not the only one, I promise you, that's getting roads tore up by commercial vehicles. And Silvio, he hasn't got his credentials yet, but he was supposed to go to school back in March or April, I think. And here, that was canceled to get his accreditation to do his truck inspections.
Zoom meetings.
So, they won't even do that. But when we sat down and talked to Senator Nichols and Brandon, they were just surprised that these guys can pull over a truck right now, know it's overweight. They can do an inspection. Some of these guys don't even have driver's license. Some of them don't have blinkers. Some of them, the brakes wouldn't. There's so many things wrong with these trucks. And guess what? They got to let them go because they're not certified to do anything like that. So that's where we're up. That's what we're up against, and that's why I'm pushing so hard to get this done. We've got to get that cleaned up. We've got to take care of that.
Seems to make sense, because if they're regulated, then they won't be tearing the streets up, that then we have to have money to go pay for the streets.
Yes.
Right? So we're
Yes.
wasting money, taxpayer money, having to clean up from other stuff that
That's
goes
right.
on.
That's right.
Okay, gotcha.
So we'll have 2 officers out of Precinct 2, and Constable Gable in Precinct 3 he's got 2 that we're ready to go once we get the legislatures to do what they need to do. And we tried to do it last year, and it got bogged down, and it didn't work. But we've convinced them that this really needs to go through, and I think we'll be able to get that done this next year through Austin.
Okay. Well, good. That's good news. I didn't know anything about that. So thank you for sharing that.
There's so many trucks that are running up and down these roads that don't need to be on the road.
Well, you're absolutely right.
They just.
And if they were to go down my little tiny streets that are already narrow that you can hardly back out of, which is another whole thing.
Well, that, and if they can't stop between here and
I mean, I don't even know how fire trucks can get down there.
Yeah. Well, that's
especially when people park on the street.
And here again, that's another thing. When we waited, in my opinion, Montgomery County waited too long to change their rules and regulations on how wide a street has to be. You know, for years.
I know City of Conroe's had that controversy, too.
All you had to have was an 18-foot wide street. Well, that was good 45, 50 years ago. It wasn't good 25 years ago when everything started happening here. But we waited till 2007 to upgrade our standards. Well, how many? I've got almost 900 miles of road, and I probably don't have 200 of them that are built to the new standard.
Yep.
The rest of them are either 16, 18 foot wide.
So how are they building them in communities out there, new developments?
In the new development, it has to be 24 foot wide, the base, and your driving lanes have to be 22 foot wide. So there's 6 foot on either side of what you used to driving on right now today. So it's a lot of difference. A lot of difference.
A lot of work.
It's
So
a lot of work.
everybody thinks the roads are boring, but at least, we need the roads, right? We got to go from here to there. People don't like just hanging out at home, even though that's what we've been doing. You get in your car and you got to go somewhere, and what infuriates you more than anything is when you can't get there quickly.
Well, and again,
the straightest, easiest way without sitting in traffic.
Traffic don't stop at the precinct lines or county lines, either one. They're coming. People are still coming to Montgomery County. It's a great place to be, and there's a lot of people trying to get here. And I think there's going to be more people trying to get here.
I think so. I remember when I worked at the food bank down the road here, we had, I think, 450,000 people in the county, and then it was edging up to 500. I think we're like over 650 right now, over 650,000.
We're going to be over 7 with this next census.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it's growing.
Yes.
And so FM 1488, that's interesting to me because it's called Magnolia. It's called Conroe. It's called the Woodlands, depending on where you're standing. So let's take that area over by the Escape Theater. That's your area, right? Precinct 2. So they call that New Magnolia. That's the new term, but yet it has a Conroe address, and like you have Office Evolution there, the Woodlands, and I'm like, what?
It's all area codes is how they do the addresses. I mean, that's why everybody. Well, I live in Magnolia. Well, and I'm sometimes confused. Well, I live in Magnolia, and there's 1,100 people in Magnolia in the two square miles, but there's 238,000 people in Magnolia area codes. So, but I live in Magnolia. Well, and forever, there's a Whataburger coming to Magnolia. Okay, where's it at? Well, it's out at 2978 in Egypt Lane. Well, to me,
yep,
I have a hard time thinking that's Magnolia.
And
I'm thinking this Magnolia. So it's confusing.
You go down Fish Creek, like where you're building a bridge. I think that's Magnolia.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
But yet my address is Montgomery.
You're in Montgomery.
And down the street is, the Conroe ISD school. And yet when I have something that can't be delivered to my P.O. box, my mailbox that's right there in the subdivision, I have to go way the heck out to the Montgomery post office,
Yes.
which is not close by.
And that's not easy to get to.
No, and they're not
There's
always
no good
open.
way.
So it's...
There's not a good way.
No, it's all crazy. So what are you going to do about that?
We're building roads as fast as we can.
I thought you said you wanted somewhere to go for a road trip.
No, not necessarily. A fun road trip. Fun. So, what else? What else is going on out there in the offices?
Well, one of the things, and again, I think modesty is making him not address it, is one of the things that I would ride around with Charlie, we'd get over by the hospital district, and his mood would change. And one time I said, why are you upset? He was obviously upset. And he said, I fear that if we don't do something about the traffic over here, that something bad is going to happen. Well, I've now sat in 2 meetings with him where he came up
Are you talking on Loop 336
No,
or
I'm
where?
talking about
242 and I-45.
Yeah, and with the traffic, and it's gone through court, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can say it. I try to work with the budget that Charlie gives me to work with, and in one day he realized this is an issue that affects the entire county. And yes, part of it's in Precinct 2, but part of it's not. It was Precinct 4. And Charlie got together with the Commissioner of Precinct 4 and TxDOT and determined that it was worth it for the safety of the people in Montgomery County for us to give a substantial part of our budget to help build the flyover heading east off of 45 to alleviate a lot of the ground level traffic
absolutely.
by the hospitals.
I've been hearing about that.
Well, again, I'm going to hear about this when we leave here, but I don't care. It was brilliant, and it was the second meeting I had sat in where people were throwing their hands up, not knowing what to do, and all of a sudden he was, well, we all know what we need to do, and he came up with a solution. And that solution, sure, in a way it benefits us because we're part of the county, but that's the global kind of, he has a vision in his mind, and it's great when you sit there and
It was
you watch
needed.
it. Oh,
I used to travel
absolutely.
that way when I lived out in Splendora all the time.
He's gotten all the money now committed to what we need to build that, and they're going to start on that right away. He left it stubbed out when we built the flyover that came back into our precinct. It was stubbed out to the other side. We just didn't, there wasn't money to do it.
They needed it.
They needed it badly.
Metz area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when we work with Precinct 4, hand in hand, and he got that done. So I'm really excited about that.
It's not about you. It's about we. It's about everybody, right? Everybody has to work together.
It so was. You want to be proud about what you do for your living every day. And, for me to come home and be able to say, look what he's done. Look what he did now. And in a positive way, look what he did. He's gonna alleviate this. And, I don't want to be overly dramatic, but he's going to save lives with what he did. And
Yes, I've heard about all of that. And then there were some scary things going on.
One of the things that bothered me more than anything is when we had all the hospitals in a meeting at the Woodlands Chamber talking about the problems with the traffic. And the lady from Texas Children, I can't remember her name right now, she looked me in the eye and said, when your kid or grandkid gets sick, what do? Well, I said, I pick him up, I throw him and before I could say car, I realized what she was telling me. These people that are taking these kids to Texas Children in their cars, they don't have the ambulance with the sirens, the horns, the flashing lights, all that. They're trying to get through that traffic jam like everybody else with a sick kid that needs to be in the hospital.
And it's right in that area.
That scared me to no end.
And that is like the hubbub of all of our medical.
That is.
Mini Houston Medical Center.
Even an ambulance trying to get through there is it's terrible. Not all the time, but most of the time. In the evening, in the mornings, it's terrible. So the flyover.
It's good.
The flyover will alleviate probably 80% of that problem. It really will. And
That's great.
So.
That's good. And it was tolls, but now it's not.
It's not toll.
Correct.
We took the tolls off.
Because it was paid for.
It was paid for, but the tolls from those two flyovers were to build a third one. But again, when we set a toll of 25 cents and 50 cents, it was going to take us forever to try to get enough money to build that third flyover. And when you start looking at what you could do, what you had, and where you could pull money together, that's what we did. We
That's smart.
Pulled it together, and we sat down with TxDOT, and TxDOT is excited. They know it needs to be done. They didn't have it on their radar because we were supposed to do that. So when we told them we had the money put together, they're excited about doing the job. Will we get it done by the end of this year? No. Will we be under construction by the end of this year? There's a good chance that we will be under construction.
But you're moving forward.
We are moving forward.
That's the big step is you're moving forward, trying to
Yes.
get it done.
Yes.
Oh, he will get it done. It won't be a try. He will get it
Good,
done.
good.
It'll be done.
What other projects do you work on with the other commissioners?
Me and Metz have worked on trying to get David Lane, which is another project with Shenandoah, City of Conroe, and him. It's not even in my precinct, but I sit on the HGAC board down there, so I try to communicate with who needs what and what's a good project, what's one that probably needs to be turned in to get funded through HGAC, and we've turned in David Lane twice, and it just was not on HGAC's radar as a big high priority until I think when the Methodist Hospital went to put on their addition of I don't forget how many rooms they're doing. They've got another 300 or 400 rooms that they're adding on to their hospital. And then when the football stadium went in a few years ago, all of that changed that whole dynamics back behind the mall. And
there's a lot going on back there now.
Man, it
that
is.
Whole entertainment area.
And it's all David Lane. And now they realize that could run parallel with 1488 up to 242 as another way to relieve some of that traffic. So
1488 and 242 are evil.
They are evil. And 2978 and 1488 is
really
is
hate
again.
1488.
There's just
I'm in my little Mini Cooper, like on my toes, trying to look, and I go, okay, there's an opening. Bam.
Yeah. You
Your
better take it
car's
quick.
fast
though.
enough to do it. So.
Right.
You
And
better
hopefully
take-
there's not an officer.
Better take it quick.
He already took.
But
a
again,
picture of your car.
1488. There's people talking about
Yeah.
widening 1488 to 6 lanes from 2978 back to 45. I understand it needs to be done. There's no doubt.
It's crazy.
But what I need to look at, again, to help the whole county, I need 1488 through Magnolia as 4 lanes before we start addressing 6 lanes on the other end.
Yeah.
I got to get that.
So you're all the way to 45, right?
I'm from 45 all the way to Waller County line on 1488. All of that's mine.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I've got to get it through Magnolia, and then we can go add 2 lanes on the other end. I'm not trying to penalize anybody, but
That's
I need to
okay.
get
Just
it
work
done.
on what you got going and get her done, and then we'll move on to the next
And
thing.
then I got to get the relief route around
So-
Magnolia. And then 2978, that's been a nightmare. That's got to continue. But they are making progress on getting
Yep,
it done.
that's an area. Yeah,
So-
2978 is bad too. I try not to go that way. Going towards Walmart and Woodlands Parkway.
Yeah.
No, not fun.
Yeah. No, it's not fun.
I know those areas. So if somebody wants to find you,
I'm pretty easy.
they call Bruce.
I'm pretty easy.
So you have a website, comprecinct2.org. You can go to mctx.org and scroll down. That's the easiest way to find anything in the county, mctx.org. And then just go down to see commissioners and then find you. But it's comprecinct2.org. And I think it's pretty close to the same for your Facebook page as well.
I think so.
But just Google it and reach these guys and then have them nudge Charlie.
Well, that's an
So-
interesting story. The only reason we did that was not to shelter Charlie. Anonymous hacked Charlie's email.
Yeah, I
The
remember that.
actual
You had an
Anonymous.
email and then,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
bad.
So, anyhow, I got your number. I know how to find you. So that's all we have for today. Our time is over. There will be a YouTube of this link that will be posted on Conroe Culture News. And, of course, I'll give it to you guys, and you can play with it or whatever. And I appreciate the information all about Commissioner Precinct 2, Charlie Riley, and team, because it takes a team, right, Charlie?
It does.
So hopefully we will move forward, and social distancing is still in effect. Everybody be healthy, be safe, and have a great day. I'm Margie Tayl.
Today's show was recorded and broadcasted live on irlonestar.com, Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and all rights and ownership are reserved to Lone Star Community Radio. For more information regarding this program and Lone Star Community Radio, visit us online at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, serving the community with local programming on TV, radio, and online. If you enjoyed today's program, please support us by sponsorship or starting your own show. Contact us today by phone or text at 936-666-1084 or email the station at lscrstudios@gmail.com.